Welcome to this piano tutorial on River Flows in You. We're going to take a look at the right hand alone. After that, we'll take a look at the chord symbols and see how you can very easily play this song by adding a few simple notes in the left hand. It's going to sound really wonderful, and it's really quite simple once you understand the way this all is put together. So let's dive right in. Let's start by playing the right hand alone. Don't forget that we have three sharps in this piece: F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. All the way through this piece we need to keep those three sharps in mind. Here we go. From the beginning, right hand alone. Now that we've got the melody down, let's take a look at the left hand. Now, fortunately, in this piece, we have a very simple accompaniment because we only have four chords over and over again. And we're going to take a look at those chords, first of all, in their very most simple form, and then we'll look at a little accompaniment that we can use to make them even more interesting. So here's our first chord. We have an F sharp minor chord, which is these three notes, F sharp, A, and C sharp. We have a D add 9. Now, if we take a D major chord, the octave of that chord would be the 8th, the D here on the right here, this 8th step, and a 9th would be one step further. So the E would be the add 9 that we see in this chord symbol. Our third chord that we have in this piece is an A major chord, which is played like that, and an E major chord has these three notes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change this accompaniment just a little bit, change these chords so that it becomes a little more interesting in the left hand. For every chord, what we're going to do is, instead of playing the chord like this, Okay, we're going to leave out the middle note because we have that in the song usually in the right hand. So now I've got F sharp and C sharp. And I'm going to double this bottom note up an octave higher. Okay, right here like that. Okay, so that's one of the variants that you'll see. It's just simply root, the fifth of the chord, and the octave like that. The other possibility is to do root, fifth, and then this third note, this A that would be here, to play that up here. Root, fifth, and third. Either one of them works, actually. You don't have to stress out too much about which one you use. Either F, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, or F sharp, C sharp, A. Both of those are perfectly fine. For people with smaller hands, of course, it's going to be easier to play F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. On the D add 9, we just simply play D, A, and E, the 9 up here on the top. For our A major chord, we can either play A, E, and A if you have smaller hands, or if you want A, E, C sharp. And for our E major chord, E, B, and the G sharp that would normally be in the middle here, we play up on the top also like this. We have E, B, G sharp. You might really have to swing your wrist around to get that G sharp. The other option there is to play the octave instead, E, B, and E like this. Either E, B, G sharp or E, B, E. And you'll see which ones I use. I honestly kind of use a mixture in this piece of sometimes the octave or sometimes if the right hand is in the way, depending on whether the right hand is in the way, either the octave or the third up above. Okay. Once you've got that down, it's the same thing over and over again, and we can just take that simple accompaniment pattern and play bottom, middle, top, and in some places bottom, middle, top, bottom, or bottom, middle, top, bottom. All of those slight variants work perfectly well in this piece. It doesn't make a big difference, honestly, which one you use. But you can watch and get some ideas from the way I play it. You'll notice that the left hand always does the same thing and is based over and over again on those 4 chord symbols. So really try and follow along with the chord symbols and understand what I'm doing, and you'll have no problem playing this piece. So let's go through it slowly now with both hands together from the beginning, right hand and left hand together at the same time. Here we go. All right, now let's take a look at a couple of things that you need to know when playing this piece to make it even more musical. First of all, let's talk about the pedal. Be sure that you change the pedal every time you see a new chord symbol and that you're really lifting it all the way up and back down again. Otherwise, these harmonies will get blurry, they'll blur together, it'll sound very unclear, and that's a telltale sign of a bad pianist, something you absolutely want to avoid. Another thing to think about is this is a piece which features quite a lot of rubato. Rubato means that the tempo can fluctuate depending on the musical expression. So in the beginning, in the first line of this piece, you see ritardando and a tempo and ritardando and a tempo. That means slowing down and going back to the normal tempo, slowing back down and going back to the normal tempo. If you listen to Yiruma performing this piece, you'll notice that he does not stay entirely in tempo. There are some places where he takes some time, particularly at the ends of phrases. So for example, at the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so forth. So I'm really slowing down at the end of the phrase and really taking my time before I continue. Think of the emphases in this piece being on beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we have our new chords, normally on beats 1 and 3 in every measure, and that's what we want to emphasize in terms of the rhythm. So create a little bit of an accent on, for example, in measure 5, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, and so forth, and try to make the notes in between not too heavy. But keep in mind also that you want to keep the right hand louder than the left hand. The left hand is only an accompaniment, and throughout this piece you want the right hand to definitely be in the foreground. Those are the most important things you need to know when playing River Flows in You. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next tutorial.